I went home with a couple that night.
Right.
And we had a pretty hot time. There were some restraints, maybe
Yeah.
some nipple clamps.
Now, have you
I had
ever
never
done
done
anything?
anything like no.
So that was all crazy new for you.
It was new for me. It was a lot of fun and had a great time. I think the sun was coming up when I went back to the Airbnb.
Welcome to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Here's your host, Marcus.
Welcome to another episode of Secrets of a Sugar Daddy, the #1 sugar dating podcast in the world, where we pull back the curtains on the good and the bad.
Marcus.
And Katie, the shocking,
And the so
shocking stories of sugar dating.
So
Today,
shocking.
my co-host is Katie. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Marcus?
You guys remember Katie? She came to the party.
I think I've been on, this is like my 4th time on,
You've been on a few times, yeah.
Yeah.
We've kind of had some whirlwind things going on here
yeah.
in your life. So before we get going, I've got a bunch of letters and situations that Katie's going to help me with. We're going to talk about these, but Katie actually set up our Patreon group, which is doing really well. I appreciate you guys supporting the show. Let me tell you what you're going to get for that too. A lot. So when you become a VIP supporter of the show, you can go to patreon.com/Secrets of a Sugar Daddy podcast. It's only $10 a month. And what do you get for that? Well, you get to hear every single episode and extra sugar first before anybody else hears it. Before we broadcast it to the entire world, our special VIP members get to preview it and actually hear the entire episode first. Also, we have been posting lots of fun pictures of the party, which we're going to bring up here in a minute. Other fun pictures that we take, like we'll do events together and we'll post pictures. Also, too, that we've added, now this is a big value. You're not going to find this from any other coach, but for $10 a month, we will review your profile and help you be successful with sugar dating. So we'll look at your profile, give you suggestions. Either Lily will or I will, or maybe both of us. You cannot find that for $10. Katie, what do you think?
I think that is the best damn value in America.
That is absolutely one of the best values. And we're adding all kinds of cool benefits monthly as we think of them. But for now, that's a pretty good thing. I think if we added any more, we'd have to go up in the price. And I don't want to do that. So what do we do with that money? Katie, what do we do with that money?
So many wonderful things. It helps support the show. It helps pay for web hosting and recording and equipment and all the expenses that go along with hosting an amazing podcast like this one. It's not cheap.
It isn't cheap. It seems like a simple process. You get a little soundboard and a microphone and you just talk into it. You could even record podcast on your computer, but there's so much more to it, huh?
There's so much more to a successful podcast.
Well, we rent out a studio here in Old Town Scottsdale that Katie has been to. It's really nice, but they don't give it to us for free. So we appreciate you guys helping us cover those costs. And that money doesn't go into my pocket, certainly doesn't go into Katie's pocket. But yeah, that's what we do with the money. And I forgot one other amazing benefit. All VIP members of the show will get first invitation to our next party.
Oh, that you do not want to miss these parties.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Katie was at our Thanksgiving party.
Yes, I was. I mean, my body was there. My mind was kind of maybe not there.
I don't think Katie will mind, but she flew first class to Arizona. And when I went
Thank you, podcast fanboy.
And when I went and picked her up at the airport, let's just say she partook of the drinks allowed in first class.
I mean, I think they were force feeding them
Yeah, I
to
think
me.
they
I
were.
don't know what happened. It was definitely not
So you
me.
you showed up a little tipsy, and then the night just got better and better. So,
Well, it did get better and better. I don't know if you want to talk about that now or
well,
when, but
what were your thoughts of that weekend? I really haven't had a chance to talk to you. It's been a few months now, but
it was a lovely weekend. It
yeah.
was debaucherous. Is that a word? I think
In what ways,
it.
Katie?
Well, so I showed up Friday. Yeah, I was a little tipsy, but I, got back down to earth.
Yeah.
Everything was fine. We went to this amazing meet and greet party that night, Friday night, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was Friday night.
Right at
Yeah,
the W.
at the W, which was great. It was awesome to meet people who were flying in and stuff. One of your friends rented that sweet penthouse
Yeah, it
suite
was
or
Bad Brad.
Bad Brad. He's pretty cute, by the way.
Yeah.
But anyway, he was fun. But I made some friends that night and how much do I say?
Yeah, you can go as far as you want because
Well,
we all know what happened, but
okay, so I went home with a couple
yeah,
that night and
right.
we had a pretty hot time. There were some restraints, maybe
Yeah.
some nipple clamps.
Now, have you
I had
ever
never
done
done
anything?
anything like
So that
no.
was all crazy new for you.
It was new for me. It was a lot of fun and had a great time. I think the sun was coming up when I went back to the Airbnb and let's just say I was covered in oil. My
Oh
Uber
my
driver was
goodness.
like, "What the hell happened to you?" My
Yeah.
hair was covered in oil and I was just smiling, kind of like, "Wow, that was an amazing night."
Yeah, that caught us a little bit by surprise. I didn't even know about it until later, but I don't think a lot of people actually knew that happened until later, but then, word got out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't care who knows in this lifestyle. There was a lot of crazy stuff happening that weekend and everyone was having a good time. So
Mm-hmm.
it's fine. I'm just Katie. So it's fine if people know. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was fun.
So how was the
Good times.
accommodations?
Oh, so good. I was staying with some great other gals. The Airbnb was adorable. I loved the kitchen, the bedrooms were comfortable, everything was great. And that was your
Yeah,
Airbnb, wasn't
that's
it?
that's my Airbnbs I currently own.
It was really, really cute, very comfortable,
Well,
great
good.
location. So, yeah, it was great.
Then we had a little pre-party before the concert
Yes, we
and had
did.
a
Oh, it
fun.
was beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful spread at your house. Got to meet the girls, all the girls. Everyone was so nice. It
Yeah,
was
what
just
did you
like,
think about that?
yeah. Oh, okay. So in walks basically like 20 models. Everyone looks like, like a model. Like everyone looks so good, dressed to the nines. In your head, you might think, ooh, I wonder if these girls are nice. Oh my gosh. So funny, so smart, talented ladies. Just everyone got along so well. I exchanged information with several girls and we've kept in touch and
Mm-hmm.
made a bunch of new friends. So that part was all just awesome. And the guys too. I mean, the guys were definitely outnumbered. There were a few guys, lots of ladies,
By
but
design, Katie, by design.
yeah, I know how it works. But everybody was wonderful. So I've talked to several of the people from the party since then. I just talked to Short King about 20 minutes ago
Oh,
too. So
did you
yeah,
really?
I did. Yeah. We don't live too far from each other, like less than 3 hours away. So we've talked about getting together and hanging out sometime. We haven't yet, but
Yeah,
maybe.
he's a lot of fun. I actually
Yeah.
have printed out in my hand some letters that people reference Short King.
Ooh,
He's been
okay.
quite a hit on this
Yeah.
show and at the party, obviously.
He's an entertainer. He's
Mm-hmm.
awesome. He is probably the best dancer I have ever seen. And I think he could win any woman. He's adorable too. He's like very good looking, great dresser, awesome style. His dance skills are amazing. So yeah, he's
How about his
pretty
dance
cool.
skills on the bus there?
That was awesome. He
That was
was
quite.
really showing off.
Yeah.
It was cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
really good. Yep, he's
All
cool.
right. So we had the party, or then we had the concert that evening, and then let's see, wrap that up, and then the next day, I can't remember what. Oh, did you stay an
Well,
extra day or no? I can't remember. Oh
no,
no,
I
you
went
left
home
fairly early,
so
right?
early. You took
Yeah,
me to the airport
that's right.
and I had to leave really early the next day, so I couldn't get too crazy at the
Yeah.
concert. I was pretty tame that night. I was kind of
Because you had your
lame.
fun the night
I had
before.
my fun the night before, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Kevin
Yep,
and
yep.
Vivian were kind of like that too. They had so much fun on the Friday night. That Saturday they were a little wiped out.
Yes. Yeah, I think I blew my load the first night, the whole thing.
That's kind of like when
So,
I go to Vegas for a weekend, like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or whatever, and then I just lose all my money on the Friday night,
yeah,
and then
yep,
Saturday I'm like
just like that. The
chilling.
rest is kind of but the concert was so good. Oh my gosh, so good. The lights, the sound,
Yeah,
just the whole entertainment factor was phenomenal.
Pitbull puts on a good show.
And then they had that stage in the middle. I could
Mm-hmm.
not believe it was crazy. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was very entertaining.
yeah.
Really good show.
Well,
Yeah.
we don't know exactly when and where our next concert is or our next party, but we are actively looking at concerts here and in Vegas, trying to pick a
Ooh.
venue.
How about a
And
country concert?
yeah, that would be fun.
Whoa.
Well,
Maybe.
we had some good country acts come through last year that would have made for a good party. But yeah, we'll keep our ears open. And again, we'll put the information on our website when we get everything planned. And then, of course, if you are a VIP member of Patreon, you will have first access invite to
Yeah.
the
So,
party.
yeah,
Yeah.
you really want to get that VIP
Yeah.
membership, that Patreon membership.
Didn't it feel like family the instant you
Totally.
met everyone?
Yep. It felt
Isn't that
exactly
weird?
like family. I don't think it's weird because when you're in some kind of like, I mean, let's face it, we're in a little bit of a niche subculture, a
Mm-hmm.
little bit. It's, a little different. It's not super mainstream. And I feel like that bonds people like immediately. Like you can just be open. And if you can talk about your sex life and squirting and, and,
Yeah.
and threesomes and all of this stuff, like immediately in the first few minutes that you're meeting someone, I think you could pretty much talk about anything. And I think that just automatically brings people closer together.
It was very non-judgmental.
Well, yeah, who's gonna judge? I
Yeah.
mean, like it's like throwing stones, glass houses, whatever that
Right.
saying is. Like,
It just
yeah,
felt like everybody could talk about their experiences and nobody was going to look at them like, are you kidding me? What kind of a slut or whore are you? Or what kind of
no,
debauchery are you into? Everybody was
yeah,
like, oh, yeah, I've had an experience similar to this. And they shared
yeah,
experiences and maybe solutions to issues or problems that they may have encountered during sugar dating. And it was a
yeah.
really big love fest.
It was a super big love fest, and even though everyone knows podcast fanboy and I were together for a while,
Hmm.
and by the time the concert came about, we were not together anymore.
Right,
But
right.
we still hugged each other, asked how the kids were doing, talked about stuff, and he
Yeah.
paid my airfare. It's a wonderful community, and it's great.
Yeah. Well, good.
Yeah.
So I know we've had plenty of people on here, past guests who've attended the party, who've given glowing reviews, but I just like to hear your perspective on it and people that are maybe
Yeah.
hesitant or skeptical. I think you just need to be open-minded and come have fun and party with the crew of Secrets of a Sugar Daddy.
It was so fun. Yes,
Yeah.
everyone needs to come party with us.
All right. Well, I asked Katie to join me today because Lily is in Las Vegas with her sugar daddy. They're in a
Yay.
convention. They're doing all kinds of
Yeah.
fun things. But I have some letters and some situations that were presented
Situation.
to
I
us.
love
Yeah,
a good
these are going to be
situation.
fun. But let me get to some of the letters here first. And
Right.
I am going to get your opinion and have you help me out on this. Oh, very
Yay.
first one. Hey, this is from Jackson. Says, hey, loving the Short King episode. That's episode 126. He says, I am 5'2" and 56 years old. I usually see shorter women, but I have had very good relationships with women of all heights, even 6 foot. It's so much more about the mutual connection. Now,
Yep.
Katie, in your opinion, would you have given Short King a chance if he was on Tinder or Bumble or some other like swiping site?
Oh,
Because in there, it's asked you to put your height.
it does. I'm going to sound petty and shallow right now. Okay. I would be maybe a little skeptical. I don't know. But I am someone who I read the profiles. I
Mhm.
read what music they're into. I read their interests, what they like to do. There have been times where there were a lot of no's, and then I see that they're like under 5'6".
Yeah.
If there are other no's, then I'd go ahead and maybe not swipe.
Right.
But if it's like, oh, this person's awesome in every way, they're a good match for me, I don't care their height. I really don't. I mean, do I like a tall guy? Yeah, I like a tall guy, but it's not a end all be all.
Yeah.
Height is a very small
It's just one
fraction of the big
component.
picture.
Right.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And Short King is sexy as fuck. He really is. And from what I hear, he's pretty good in bed too.
Yeah,
So
apparently.
I don't know. That's just what I hear.
Okay. All right, next one. I don't know. They signed this Dr. Drew. This obviously isn't the Dr. Drew.
You
but,
never know.
Says, just a suggestion, was listening to the episode today about managing multiple sugar babies. That's the episode we released not too long ago with Jay. I don't know if you've heard that one, but he basically has multiple sugar babies in different countries. And it's becoming quite a challenge for him. So,
well, in different countries, I would think would be easier to manage than like all in the same city.
I've touted this number before, and this is no lie. And even today, I can't believe I was doing this. But at one time, I was juggling 9 here locally.
What?
Yeah.
Why? Why do you need 9 sugar babies?
Didn't need 9. It's just they I would go out with somebody and I'd like them, but I didn't want to spend a lot of time with them. But I enjoyed their company for a date or two. And then I was dating around. I was probably 3 or 4 regulars. But then every now and then they would just pop up and go, "Hey, how are you? What's up?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm doing well." And they're like, "Hey, I'd love to see you Tuesday or whatever." I'm like, "Sure, I got Tuesday." It was just one of those things. And all of a sudden I'm writing down on a piece of paper. I'm like, no wonder I'm broke. I've got 9 girls I'm kind of juggling right now. It's stupid.
Did you have any of those 9 on an allowance,
No,
or were they all PPM?
No, they were just as I saw them.
Or like, okay,
I would help
got
them
it.
out. But I had a few regular that I would see like at least once a week. Yeah.
Jeez.
I don't know.
Okay. Did you have a favorite?
Well,
like a favorite
I
one?
have favorite flavors of ice cream, but I don't want it every day.
Variety is the spice of life.
It is. So anyway, all right. He goes on and says, just a suggestion, was listening to the episode today about managing multiple sugar babies, and he was talking about how Lily reviewed his profile. That's right. I remember she did go in and completely restructure his profile. He says, I think a perk of the Patreon should be profile review or profile rewrite. Getting episodes ahead of time is great, but that would be so much more valuable. Well, Dr. Drew, we have implemented that, and we are now doing profile reviews and help with those. So it's the best deal in the country. $10.
Yeah, it
Can
is.
you believe that?
$10. I mean, that's 2 coffees.
That's unbelievable. So,
yeah.
Okay, another letter from Andreas says, hi, my name is Andreas, and I am writing you from Sweden. I'm in the middle of writing a book about sugar dating experiences and the lifestyle associated with it. After listening to your excellent podcast, I have a number of questions I'd really like to ask, and if I may, perhaps quote them in my book. This would be written questions, of course. Looking forward to hearing from you. Yours, Andreas. Well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is.
I didn't know if I was ever going to be an expert of anything, but I think I've talked and interviewed with more sugar babies and sugar daddies than anybody else. So
you are the Hugh Hefner of sugar dating, I feel like.
I think we've got a pretty good finger on it, or a thumb on kind of the pulse of the sugar dating world.
Yeah.
So yeah,
you've reached expert status for sure.
Yeah, we'll reach out. I've certainly dated enough women to know the do's and don'ts. Which actually we're going to get into some of those here in just a sec.
All right.
After we power through some of these letters. All right, here's one from Layla. Hello, I'm 27 years old. I'm a sugar baby who's been on SA since I was 20. My sugar name is Layla. I'm so thrilled I found your show. I don't have a lot of friends in the lifestyle, and I feel like you guys have become my friends. I live in Tucson, Arizona, and was ecstatic to find out you guys live in the Phoenix area. I subscribe to your premium Patreon to get info about your next party. Way to go, Layla. You're ahead of the game
Yay,
already.
Layla. Thank you, Layla.
She says, I have a boyfriend of 3.5 years who I met on Seeking. We are very much in love, and I also have 2 sugar daddies who live in Phoenix. Wow. I wonder if he knows about that. A boyfriend she met on Seeking. Well, it sounds like they probably have kind of an open communication.
Yeah, that's what I gather.
Says, I have also partied at the W in Scottsdale, and it's amazing there. I would love to meet you guys. I come to Phoenix a lot. I'm having a blast with my current sugar daddies and would love people to talk about this lifestyle with. Never stop this podcast. You have made me feel not alone in this fun lifestyle.
Oh.
This lifestyle has elevated me in so many ways. I would just love to meet the secrets of a sugar daddy gang. Well,
It can happen, Layla.
definitely it can happen, especially since she's a member of our Patreon. She will get the opportunity
She will.
to
Yeah.
party with.
I love that phenomenon of like, that's one thing that I love about podcasting. I've worked in it for 6 years and you listen to the people on the other end and they are like your friends. Like I remodeled a whole house in the course of a year listening to podcasts the whole time. And these people were, I felt like my friends. And then add this whole subculture thing to it. And yeah, I can totally see why Layla
we
feels
just
that way.
had our most downloaded episode in the history for the
saw
first
that.
7 days and 30 days. Now, it hadn't even hit 2 weeks yet, but it's just breaking all records. And it's the one with Amanda from the Dichotomy Diaries podcast. And following her podcast, I don't listen to a lot of podcasts. To be honest with you, they bore the fuck out of me. And so if you have a suggestion for a very good podcast that's entertaining, educational, not going to be boring, send it to me.
Do you like murder?
Murder mysteries. You know, when I'm working, I'd rather listen to something that's a little more enlightening and educational and inspiring. But I kind of do the same way with you. When I'm remodeling homes or I'm out in between jobs, like driving in between jobs, and I have some free time, I'm always listening to something.
Yeah.
And I like listening to podcasts. And so I'm
Me
always
too.
looking for things. But anyway, back to her podcast. Hers is a real life story of a failed marriage that went horribly wrong, and the things that she found out that were going on behind the scenes is just so shocking, and that's why we had her on the show. But she has gained, like, you read all the letters and the comments, like it's an entire family from all over the world that's all of a sudden invested with this girl.
Yep.
And they're all supporting her and giving her encouragement.
That's
and
awesome.
A lot of the people have gone through the same thing. So it's become like this big family on just her podcast. And that's kind of what we're experiencing too. Yeah,
yep. I love
cool.
that. People support. And the host, she probably gets just as much out of it from her listeners as the listeners do from her.
Yeah. All right. This is from Aurelia. Hi there. I found your show a few months ago after a friend suggested I become a sugar baby. I scoffed at the idea because I just assumed, like most people, it was just old, gross dudes paying for sex.
Nope.
I mean,
wrong.
Is there that component? Absolutely.
Sure.
But it's not the majority. It
is not.
Yeah, as we've experienced. I didn't know sugar dating could be anything more than what I believed it to be. I just signed up for Seeking, but I don't have any photos up and have a generic bio just because it's required. I'm in a bit of an odd situation, and I was wondering if anyone connected to the show would be willing and or able to coach me and take me under their wing. Well, I just told you how. All right.
Yes.
Here we get into the good stuff. I was raised Mormon. Well, we get a lot of those. It's unbelievable.
Well, I think there's a lot of people who were raised Mormon and repressed and they rebel when they're in adulthood.
Yeah, I'm very, as if you've been listening, I'm very familiar with the Mormon religion because I actually joined it many, many, many years ago after being raised Southern Baptist. I'm not an active member, but I certainly understand what's going on there. And even Amanda from the Dichotomy Diaries episode that we did that's breaking all of our records, her husband was Mormon, raised Mormon. So,
okay.
But you know what? You could be raised anything. I mean, you are going to be who you are eventually. And I don't know. It's just, we do get a lot of Mormon listeners and Mormon situations. But anyway.
Yeah.
She says, I was raised Mormon and the overt repression started when I was 3 and 4 years old. I was born very curious, not just sexually, but about the world in general. And see, that's me too. I am so curious about everything.
Yeah, that's a good quality. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since my body was obviously bad, quote unquote, and that message
Oh.
was coming at me from all fronts, I became a very smart, overachieving good girl to compensate for the shame. I had one long-term boyfriend in high school, but we never had sex. I tried dating in college, but it just wasn't in the cards. I averaged one date per year and no second dates. My current average is one date per 2 years.
What?
How old is she
Okay.
now?
Wow, that's not a lot of
Mm,
dating.
no.
Okay.
When I was 26, I was preparing to go into the military and visited a friend in Italy. He knew I was waiting until marriage, but that didn't stop him from pushing boundaries until my V card was punched without my consent.
Oh no.
At the time, I didn't have a word for what had happened, but now I understand that I was criminally violated.
Mhm.
Between the stress of the incident and the stress of joining the military shortly afterwards, I developed an eating disorder to not only cope, but to basically become invisible. I gained almost 100 pounds in 2 years, and I'm still carrying most of that weight. I know that's not very fun to read, and I'm happy to report that I'm doing great now. Thank you, therapy. I'm
Mhm.
slowly working on the weight loss, and I feel ready to start dating. I have some big dreams and goals, so a little or a lot of sugar would really help. However, now that I'm almost 38 and overweight, I'm not exactly an ideal candidate on paper. I want to
Mhm.
find somebody that I can explore my sexuality with, but safely at my own pace. I'm uncharted territory, and I don't know how to communicate my need for safety without sounding like a total drag. If you've got any advice, I'll gladly take it. I'd even be willing to come on the show if you think any listeners would find my story interesting. Wow.
I feel like we need to respond very delicately with this for some reason. I
Yeah.
have thoughts.
Which are? Because
Well,
I'm
my
all over the
first
board with this one.
I am too. So, I'm not going to dissuade anyone from the sugar lifestyle, but you have to be very mentally strong to be in this lifestyle. I feel like
Yeah.
there are a lot of people who do it for the wrong reasons. I mean, there are a lot of wonderful people too, but it can be a mental roller coaster sometimes. And I feel like if you're already battling a lot of stuff, I don't know that a person should add this to it necessarily. But she said she's been to therapy. That's all great. And another thing I will say, okay, you say you're overweight. There is somebody who loves every body type out there. There's
Mm-hmm.
somebody for everybody. You're going to find on Seeking or any site for dating or in life. There are people who like bigger women, smaller women, big boobs, small boobs,
Right.
whatever, like everything. There's somebody for everybody. But the mental thing with sugar dating, I will say there was a point I was not really, I had some stuff going on where I was like, I don't know if this is for me. It's not easy always. So
No
that's
dating
what
is
I say.
easy, but
No,
sugar
you're right.
dating takes a whole different
It
mentality.
does. It really does. Hmm.
Yeah. Well, I would encourage you to keep working on your health and your physical fitness. I have
And not
been
for
doing
dating,
it.
but for
Yeah,
her,
yeah.
I
For
think.
you, you're going to start
Yeah.
feeling better. The pounds are
Mhm.
going to come off, and you're going to start feeling better about yourself. And
Confidence.
yeah, your confidence will soar. People will find you more physically attractive as the weight comes off. And again, is there somebody out there that loves you just the way they are? Absolutely. But you're going to have more
Mhm.
choices.
Mhm.
And it's just going
Yeah.
to be an abundance as you take care of yourself first. So I
I
would
think
encourage you to do that.
going into any relationship, physical and mental health are really important to be in
Hmm.
a good place, physically, mentally healthy, no matter what kind of dating you're trying to do.
Right. But yeah, definitely go sign up for the Patreon. We'll love to help you out. And yeah, if you want to be on the show, we'd love to have you. So
Mhm.
thank you,
Yeah.
Aurelia, for writing in.
Yeah.
Okay, I think
Thanks.
that's the last of the most current letter. Well, and actually, I have some situations too here.
Ooh,
These are fun. I've
situations.
got a few good ones here. Ready?
I don't know.
All right. So I'm glad we got Katie on, an opposite sex, because I definitely have my opinion on this, and I'm going to see what yours is. This is called seeking and the photo request.
Okay.
I'm
All
certain
right.
I'm not the only sugar baby who gets annoyed when they get a notification about a new message on Seeking, and it's just a private photo request, nothing else.
Mhm.
No offering your own private photos first, not even a, hey, how's your Thursday going? Just the private photo request. The first thing I think when this happens is, what are you offering in exchange? You haven't sent a message or shown your own pics, so an out-of-the-blue request makes me automatically suspicious. If you are seeking a mutually beneficial arrangement, start off on the right foot and offer something. And no, I don't mean offering money before the meet and greet. I know myself and many other sugar babies put a lot of thought into our profiles and messages. Mine has multiple different conversation starters intended to get a message going for the uninspired. Is a warlock just a D&D sugar baby? Yeah. What was the last concert you went to? What was the best spot for a sweet treat in town? If you don't want the benefits you receive to be lazy, don't be lazy and start off with a good impression. If you're feeling too drained by all the bots and scammers to do that, you might need to take time away. There are consequences to the way you behave when you feel jaded that you may not be aware of until you've had time and space to adjust your mindset. Okay, now she's just ranting. All right, that is an issue.
Well, okay.
And
Well,
lots of girls complain that men, the only thing they do is ask for their private photos without saying a word. And you'll even read in the profiles, if you do that, I'm blocking you immediately.
hmm.
What are your thoughts on
Well,
that?
I might be doing this wrong. I'm not on Seeking anymore for one thing, but I was not very long ago. But I don't have any private photos on Seeking.
Yeah.
I've got a shitload of photos that are just out there, but I don't have any private ones. And I've always wondered, what's the point of the private ones? Are they supposed to be a little more risque or
Yeah, there's
okay.
all kinds of reasons that people would have
Okay.
private photos. Even I took off my private photos because I
Okay.
got tired of the same thing. Girls
Yeah,
just
I'm like,
asking for my private photos, and basically they're just more headshots and more,
yeah. Yeah.
it's like
I'm not
nothing.
posting anything like
Yeah.
naked pictures or anything like that.
No, and
But like, yeah.
95% of the people don't.
Yeah, but I don't get annoyed by anything. I've come to realize that anything could happen and you just never know what the person on the other side of the computer screen is going to say to you. So I'm just like, it's Seeking, you never
Yeah.
know. So I don't get annoyed by anything like that. I don't know.
Here's what I would
I don't
recommend.
really.
Here's what
Yeah.
I would recommend. First of all, don't have private photos.
Yeah.
Second of all, if you do have private photos for some reason, anonymity reasons or
Right.
whatever, you can still put photos on there, but just blur your face. But
Mhm.
go ahead and put an entire body shot of that. A lot of times men, okay, if I see 6 headshots, I'm really curious on what they're hiding. And if they have private photos, I'll click on it and I won't say where because I'm super busy. I'm scrolling through all these profiles. And I don't have time to be writing something to every
Exactly.
single person. So I'm guilty
Exactly.
of that myself. Now,
Yeah.
Seeking has improved their software where if you request a private photo, a message box pops up and it says, would you like to send a message with this request? And you can accept or decline. So they're
Well,
they're trying to
yeah.
help with that problem.
Men are so visual. Here's what I think. I just think they're, like you said, in a hurry. They want to weed out, like, is this person physically what I want to be, what's their, their body, their face, their look,
Mm-hmm.
their style? What do they look like? If
Yeah.
they're not what I want anyway, then I'll just move on. Not that it's all about the physical, but guys are visual.
Yeah.
Let's admit it,
Right.
Doesn't bother me though. No.
Okay. Here's one. Says, this is from a sugar daddy. It says, this is a girl I've really been wanting to meet for a while. We've been texting for months, but she's new to all of this. So very nervous. Any advice on how to make her feel comfortable or have a good time?
Ooh.
This is a great subject. The first meet and
Yeah.
greet. getting to that.
Especially with a new girl, with
Yeah.
someone who's new in it, because it can be scary. You get these visions in your head like, oh, it's going to be a serial killer. It's going to
Yeah.
be like, you just don't know. And it can be like scary meeting a stranger. It can be scary meeting a stranger off of any dating site.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a different element when it's like seeking or something like that. I'll tell you what's made me feel more comfortable is just the guy being very transparent, sharing as much personal info about himself as he can. And I know a lot of people don't want to share personal info. They might have businesses and a reputation and stuff like that. And there are a lot of scammers too. So it's really give and take. It's really hard. But the things that make me feel most comfortable, I've gotten to know someone pretty well before I've met them, talked to them a lot. We've even become Facebook friends and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I know not everyone would feel comfortable doing that, but
Right.
that's made me feel comfortable.
Well, here's some responses and then I'll kind of give you my formula.
Yeah.
Because I've met a lot of girls who have said, you're the very first person I've met on Seeking, because I've just been so nervous and scared to meet a lot of these guys. But for some reason, I felt comfortable meeting you. And I'm like, really?
I
It
could
kind of
see
came
that.
as a little shock to me in the beginning, but I've heard it now so many times that I think I know why. So
Oh, okay. I think
we'll
I
get
know
into
why
that.
too. Okay.
Let me get into some of what people have commented. Somebody says, treat her respectfully, keep the conversation on getting to know her, share of yourself so she gets to know you, and keep and references to sexual things in your pocket. Be a gentleman
Mhm.
at all times. I think that's actually really good advice.
I agree. I love all of that advice. Those are
Right.
all the things that make me feel more comfortable with a man.
Another person responds, please be kind, courteous, and a gentleman. Zero talk of sex and no physical contact. You can ask her ahead of time if she'd be comfortable with a hug when you greet her, but reassure her that you wouldn't be offended if she would rather not. Ask her how her ideal sugar relationship would look like. After expressing how happy you are to meet her when you first arrive and tell her she looks great if it's clear she's put in some effort, you can simply say something like this. Thank you so much for meeting me. I acknowledge that you may be a bit nervous. I totally get it. I would be too if I were new at this. I promise I have only the best of intentions here. Until I've earned your trust, please let me know how I can make you more comfortable. I want to make sure you feel safe with me.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
I mean, you don't want it to sound forced or rehearsed. You want it to feel natural. Yeah, that's not bad advice. Let's see. Another sugar daddy comments, I'm having lunch today with a potential sugar baby as well. We had coffee once before, so I'm curious to find out more about her and explore the parameters of our arrangement.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Oh, here's a good one. All right. A public place, no exceptions. You can even let her choose the place, is what I normally do. Note, nervousness has been in frequent use of late. As far as my last time seeking, I am not now, as an excuse to get money before meeting and then inevitably ghost. So be on the lookout for that. Basically, sugar baby wanted money for booze to get loaded so she could have the courage to meet me. I said,
Come on, lady.
yeah, she said, I said,
Let's show a
honestly,
little more class.
if you need that to sit down with me at Starbucks, I don't think we can work out. Then the pleading of the scammer ensued. She actually would qualify as a picture seller since she tried to do so. I was like, no, but I gave her the opportunity to just send me a vanilla pic to prove it was she, and I did the same. Then the above, too bad. I was very interested. She was cute. He goes, I normally try to think I am meeting an old friend who I have not seen for many years, so we need catch up on each other's lives. That seems to put me in the right mental state, and they seem to respond to that.
Yeah.
Here's a comment that's pretty funny. Don't do what I did, for Pete's sake. I took a new sugar baby to a bottomless brunch as she said she loved brunch. She seemed pretty embarrassed, as was the rest of the establishment, by the fact I had no trousers or underpants on. Bottomless brunch, they ought to get prosecuted for false advertising.
Yeah, that's a joke. That's gotta be.
Yeah, it is. That's funny.
That's funny.
You
That
get
is
funny people.
That's cute. I love funny guys.
Mm-hmm.
So many more points for being funny.
All right. And then finally, before I get into my method, somebody comments, this is a sugar daddy comments, I'm making a few assumptions here, but she probably made a seeking profile because she wanted to date a generous guy. and she probably is nervous because you could be a jerk or disgusting or otherwise really difficult to be around. My advice, give her a gift at the meet and greet. Show she's going to get what she wants.
I love that.
Number 2, be the best version of yourself at the meet and greet. For appearance, have a fresh shower, haircut, beard trim, teeth brushed, breath, deodorant clean, appropriate clothes that fit properly. For demeanor, be interested in her life, hopes, dreams, etc. If you can help with them, offer. So far, so good. Number
Yeah.
3.
Some of that's common sense, though, right?
Well, you
Shower and
would
brush your
think it would be
teeth.
common sense. You think,
From
but
what I've heard, though.
boy, from stories I've heard from
I know.
these girls, it's
Yeah.
not common sense.
Oh.
I know. Number 3, given your months of texting, why, dude? Why? Yeah, I know.
Why months?
And I get that. I don't.
I agree with that. Really
do months
take
of
months.
texting. Yeah.
No, I agree. Like it fizzles out.
Yeah, it
I feel
does.
like you
Yeah.
don't need that much small talk.
And then how many times after months of texting you meet them and then it's over instantly because there was
Yeah.
no chemistry.
Exactly.
That's happened
Yep.
to me.
Cut right to it.
Okay, it says given your months of texting, she might be more comfortable taking things slowly. So read the room, but you might offer to do a few more low-key dates before getting intimate. And number 4, you do you. But in the future, you might consider narrowing your search to potential partners who have already made peace with the concept of sugar dating. Yeah, oh my God, memories are flooding back to me now. I met this girl who, she was so nervous. She used somebody else's photo, and we met at like the sushi place, and it was very crowded, lots of people. I mean,
Yeah,
right in
like-
the middle of Tempe, ASU. Like,
yeah.
and
Nothing bad can happen
and
there.
she was so paranoid that everybody there knew exactly why she was there.
Oh,
And-
that's silly.
Yeah, and she just had not made peace with the whole thing, and she was doing it out of desperation. She was doing it for the wrong reason, which I get.
That is the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
She
Yeah.
had some desperate issues, financial issues that she needed to take care of, and so she was doing it for that reason. And our conversation was so awkward because she just, anytime I would try to bring up anything about dating or anything like that, she just, I don't know. She was having a hard time. So here's what I do to make people feel comfortable. Obviously, I want to take all the pressure off of them. I don't want them to feel any pressure. If it goes forward, great. If it doesn't, that's fine too. But
Yeah.
I don't want to
Because
feel
you have
like
9 others. Just kidding.
Well, no, but
I'm just kidding.
taking the pressure off and just having no expectations at the meet and greet. I've had meet and greets get hot and heavy and go right back to my house, and we had a great time. And then I've had 9-hour meet and greets with Kimmy.
Yep.
I had a 9-hour and nothing physical happened. We just enjoyed each other's company so much.
After meeting Kimmy, now I can totally see
Right.
how you could have a 9-hour meet
Yeah,
and greet. 'Cause
so-
she loves to talk.
Yeah. Don't set any expectations and ask lots of questions about them.
Yes, women love that.
Yeah.
We love when
They
you
love,
ask
and if they're
questions about
giving
us.
you one-word answers, try to find scenarios that they can expand on. Just keep trying to dive in deeper. A lot of them are very hesitant to get very deep into their story because maybe they don't want you to know, and you just kind of got to read the room. But if you're just sitting there talking about yourself the whole time,
Ooh.
I've had girls complain that's like, I showed up and for an hour and a half, I never said a word. And he just
Oh my gosh.
talked all about himself,
I have had that happen so many times.
right? Yeah. So
Like,
that
ask
is,
me. I have interesting stories
Yeah.
too.
and then I do like to meet in a public place. I stopped buying dinners for girls on first dates because what would happen is they'd show up and I'm like instantly not attracted to this person. And now I've got to fork over a few $100 for a dinner.
And
So
sit there for hours
yeah,
eating.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
now
yeah,
I do a meet and greet, over a drink or something. Yeah.
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And then it's always like, if it's not going well,
Yeah.
maybe 30 minutes in, you can
Yeah.
be like, okay, well, I gotta go. Or
Right. Or
yeah,
or I'll just be upfront with them, or like, hey, I really appreciate your time, or whatever. And it's hard to tell somebody that you're not interested right off the bat.
you do that. You've
Well,
done that.
I have done that before, but
Tell me how you said it.
most cases I'll just message them like, hey, I really
Oh, okay.
enjoyed, but I think I'm
Gotcha.
gonna, I think I'm gonna go in a different direction, but I wish you the best and blah blah blah.
I would have a hard time.
I hate that, but
Yeah.
you don't want to have somebody hanging. Like,
No,
oh, did he
it's-
like me?
yep.
Did he not?
Don't want to lead anyone on.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway,
I get it.
I know we're running a little short on time, so I am going to jump over. All right. So the final one is okay. No, we're going to go with this one because I do have a quick story. I know
Yay.
we've got somebody that's going to jump in the studio here shortly, but does my sugar baby have a pimp? So we chatted on secret benefits and everything proceeded normally, had a meet and greet, agreed on the PPM, and have since had 2 intimate meets and one where I took her shopping. There are no obvious red flags. She said she was only looking for one sugar daddy, and I can see she hasn't logged into secret benefits since we met. She has given me her real name. Googling it, I can see her socials. The account details are for a personal account, not a business one. But on every meet, she has been dropped off by a guy who then kills time somewhere nearby until she texts him to take her home. I'm not sure if it's the same person, but the car hasn't been the same each time. She just refers to whoever this person is as a friend and says she doesn't feel safe using Uber. Just wondering what I could have got myself into. Could it be that innocent? On the other hand, what guy would seriously drop a girl off and hang around unless something more was involved?
I have an opinion on this, but you go first.
Well, I had a story where a girl, she had a driver, and I was like, really? And he goes, well, yeah, it's my gay best friend. He takes me everywhere, and he has my location, and he literally just waited for her for the date to be done. It was a really strange thing, but yeah.
That is.
I mean, I actually talk about that, I think in episode 5.
I remember that episode, yeah.
So if you want to hear the entire story, friend or a pimp, yeah.
It's on YouTube too.
It is, that's right.
Oh, yeah. I was going to go on a first date with someone, and it was against my better judgment, but I was kind of like, I don't know, I'm on the fence. So I do have he's not gay, but he's just a friend, and he knows a little bit about the seeking stuff. And I was going to have him drop me off at the date and hang out just in case it went south. He's definitely not my pimp. I don't have a pimp, but I've thought maybe it would, in a couple cases, like maybe have someone kind of like on call or something just in case something weird happened. But then you know what? I didn't go on that date because if my gut is off and I feel weird about it, I'm like, my spidey sense is telling me this is not the right situation, so I think I'm not going to go. So I just didn't go.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I wish we had more time to expand into that, and I have a lot to say. But, Katie, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Kinda
it's
last
been
minute.
Too long.
I know.
Missed you guys.
Yeah, we're going to have to do this again really soon. I love your insight on some of this dating shenanigans.
Yep, anytime.
I wish you guys could see her. She looks amazing.
Thank you. I got all dressed up for Marcus today.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, we should. Maybe Patreon should do some video stuff.
Yeah, maybe, huh? All right. Well, we appreciate your letters. And if you guys want to keep sharing your sugar dating stories, questions, or comments, go to our website at secretsofasugardaddy.com. Instagram, you reach us instantly there. Somebody messaged me the other day on Instagram, and I just happened to be on it, and I responded immediately. She's like, oh, my God, I'm such a fangirl, Marcus. I'm actually listening to an episode right now as I'm speaking to you.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, so Instagram is a great way to get a hold of us. And, again, become a VIP member. Go to Patreon. I'll put a link to it at the bottom of this description of this podcast. All the benefits are amazing. But you are not going to want to miss our next party, the profile reviews, the episodes, all the good stuff.
If you love this show, you'll love the Patreon even more and the parties.
There you go. All right. Katie, don't be a stranger.
Thank you. I won't. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.
Until next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to connect or even be on the show, we'd love to hear from you at secretsofasugardaddy.com.